and to inform them and get them to better understand what the stakes were and why it made sense to change. It was a hard road, and it really required a lot of perseverance. And the reason I'm talking about this story in particular is because the place where we had the greatest degree of resistance was at the Department of State. At every other place that I went to try to find support and to find assistance from the House to the Senate, from the Congress to the other parts of the executive branch to the public arena, people understood why it made sense to change. But at the Department of State, they didn't. And every 6 months, the policy was reviewed, and every 6 months, year after year, the idea of lifting the travel ban was rejected. And the reasons for rejection were as confusing, as legally dubious, and frankly had as many sort of political overtones to them as some of the reasons that we're hearing about things regarding the MEK and Camp Ashraf today. My message to you is this: you face these same challenges, and you must remain determined. We remain determined. Our cause was important to us. It was not the threat of consequences, and the magnitude of the consequences, I admit, were not as great as what they are in terms of the victims here. But there were clearly opportunities, if we could have lifted the ban and started to more normalize relationships, to protect people who were sick and could not get help and whose families couldn't get to them to provide support. And so I urge you on. Fortunately, you have very strong congressional allies who now believe in this cause and are with you. Fortunately, you have an incredible cast of opinion leaders on your side. And as several of the speakers said, any doubt about whether or not this is a valid case, that this is a credible argument, is, in my judgment, punctured by just a simple examination of the kinds of people who've studied the evidence and concluded that this cause makes sense. And more importantly, you have a strong moral case, as strong a moral case, it would seem, as you could possibly have. And you have really the forces of history on your side. And so I say to you today that while there may be moments when this seems frustrating, there may even be moments when it seems fruitless, it is time to persevere. There will be success, I believe. It will not happen maybe as soon as you want, but it will not happen unless you continue forcing the issue, moving ahead, educating people, and letting your voices be heard. Ultimately, in 1998, our voices were heard. Ultimately, the Department of State, perhaps because of our compelling arguments, perhaps because of the embarrassing weakness of their position, perhaps for other reasons, I don't know, reversed itself and lifted the travel ban. And